Good to see y'all. I was glad not to see y'all last week. It was just we needed a break. 8 weeks is, that's a lot of games. That's a lot of bangs and bruises, and not just the physical strain, but the mental strain of preparing. You got so many young players you're playing, and I think it was good for them to get a week off. Thought we had good practices last week, though. Our 3 practices we had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I thought went well. The staff and everything. We got on the recruiting trail Thursdays and Fridays, and this week, did that, and then had a day or so off on Saturday with family, and then got back in the office yesterday. So it was good. I thought it was, 8 weeks, like I say, is a long time just for the mental strain of getting away and getting ready and try to make this stretch run. As I say, they remember November. November is always important. You put yourself in a position to be relevant during the month of November in the first 2 months, and we have a chance to do that. But the big thing is we got to be relevant each week and each day, and not worry about the overall outcomes of things and where we're at, and just practice well and play well, and look forward to, we have a great opponent this week. I thought the South Carolina game, I thought we played well in the game. I thought we got out to a good start in all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams, and things we did. Like I said, going back and reviewing the film, the return was great. After the first series on offense, we got the turnover there, but then we scored 6 the next 6 drives in a row. Defense, we were suffocating. Suffocating them at the line of scrimmage and not giving anything up, and played extremely well, and getting back to where we need to play. So, got a great opponent this week. Auburn, probably playing as well as anybody in the league right now. They're playing great football. The quarterback, Bo Nix, is an outstanding player. He and Tank, the tailback, Tank is playing outstanding. He's running the football. When he runs the football, they're a different team. And Bo's legs, and he's making great decisions with the ball, being accurate, making plays down the field. Their tight ends, the other running backs, their offensive line's playing very physical. Receivers are doing a great job. Defensively, they lead the SEC, and I think they're 4th in the country in tackles for loss. They do a great job there, getting penetration, creating negative plays. They're back to health with their linebackers, McLean and Papo's back now. So, and plus they have 31, all the other guys they got a really great depth there up front. They're physical. They also getting TD Moultrie back up front, and TD was the leading sack guy and tackle guy before he, had to sit out there for a while. But inside, they're big. They're physical inside. McCreary's a great corner on the edge. Smoke Monday, great there. There's Puckett's a great player. Pritchett's a great player. They're playing well. They're playing well as anybody. They're kicking the ball well, returning it, playing good on special teams. And, they've won some big games, beat Arkansas at Arkansas, beat Ole Miss, who was playing, really hot, and what they did this weekend. So we're going to have to play a great game. This is a very good football team, but but I think we're playing well too. I think we've found out a little bit who we are, and they got to keep growing and hope we can keep that focus and keep staying true to the process on a daily basis to get better and start with a great week of practice, because we need to play well here in this game against Auburn. Questions?
On the right aisle, David.
You mentioned Bo Nix earlier. What is he doing differently this season to play at such a high level?
Well, I think they're doing a great job in how they're calling the game. Bobo does a great job. Harsin, the head coach, is an offensive guy. Brian's doing a great job with that team. I think he's making great decisions with the ball. He's picking his moments when he runs. He knows where he's going, what he's doing with, and they're getting great play action because of the run game, which is creating matchups down the field for them. The tight ends are getting involved. They're catching the ball. Their tight ends are catching the football. And Bo's a great competitor, man. He can beat with his legs, his arm. He's competitive as heck. He's tough as heck. And he's making really good decisions and being smart with football.
Front row left, Zach, and then Travis.
Jimbo, I don't know how much you actually touch with your guys on this, but the fact that Auburn has never lost at Kyle Field, do you guys talk about winning at home any more than?
Well, we do talk about playing in that stadium and representing that stadium and the opportunities you get. We're blessed to win one of the greatest stadiums in college football, not the greatest, and play in front of the best fan base. So we want to play well for those folks and how we do things. Someone brought that up to me. I think the only time is the one time over there that they won at home or whatever, I think. But, that all comes and goes. When I was at Auburn, it was Auburn and Georgia was like that for a long stretch, and then it finally broke and went somewhere else. Eventually those things break, so it'll happen and we'll go. So, but we don't worry about those things. Each year is a different year, and each thing's a different thing you got to play.
Down front, Travis, and then we'll go to the back.
Curious of now that we're halfway a season through, what has Antonio Cromartie brought to your players, and what do you feel like his impact has been so far?
Well, I think Antonio's a guy who, they know who he is. They know what he's done as a player. He's learning to coach, learning how to get that across. Like I say, sometimes when you're a great player, learning to coach is 2 different things. Learning to articulate it, get it across, and it's not what you know, it's how you can get them to know it. And I think he's done a good job of that. But he has credibility. Those guys know what he's done, what he's accomplished, and when he says something, his knowledge of the game is very astute, and not just at corner, but the whole defensive part of things, and even offensively, because of how good players ran routes on him, how route combinations worked on him. Things like that. So I think all of our players listen to him, And I think he has a chance to be a good coach in the future.
And what was the origin of that connection getting back here with you? And
Well, he was
Coach?
in Houston and had contacted, been around a couple times, brought his kids to camp. His old boy had been to my camp for ever and ever and ever. And so I always knew him from Florida State. We always had a connection, knew his family. I mean, there was a lot of Cromarties in Tallahassee. And I met his mom and aunts and different family members and always enjoyed them. One of them was at my son's grade school. She taught at my son's grade school. So I had great respect for Antonio and always had a relationship there. So when he was in Houston and wanting to possibly get in coaching, it was something that we thought would be good for both those.
And then Jalen said goofing off, he's kind of covered him out on the field and stuff. Does it appear like he still has it out there?
I don't know how much he went there, but he looks like it, that's for sure.
We'll go to the back, Tyler, and then Mike. Back behind the lights.
Coach, you guys have a tough stretch coming up, just to finish the season. It starts at Auburn. What'd you see over the bye week that gives you confidence that you're ready for this
Well, I
stretch?
think the knowledge of what we had, our guys went out to work. It wasn't an off week. It was a preparation week to get better in the fundamentals and things we did. And I love their attitude, demeanor, and I think they have a confidence in themselves about how they're playing right now, and they understand how to practice and how to prepare to play well. And I think they're starting to understand that. So you're seeing that more and more in practice too, and you hear guys say it to each other all the time, those things. And practice has just become better and better each week.
Stay in the back, Mike, then Cole down front.
Hey, Coach, can you coach confidence? Is that something that's a tangible skill you can coach, or is that just developed through?
Well, I think you can. It's great to let your players know you have confidence in them, but at the end of the day, you have to have your own confidence. You have to get it yourself by going out and doing it and performing and executing and having success. And that come now. Can you trust coaches and players around you that, hey, I can do this and do that? Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, and have the trust in them to do exactly what they coach you to do and how to say it and how to do it, without a doubt. But confidence is something you can help a guy with, but at the end of the day, you have to perform, in my opinion, to be able to do it. And confidence comes from and if that makes any sense. And, players and even coaches, when you're coaching, you know that you can get this done, or as a player, you know you can get this done. And I think it's got to be a time for that.
Down front, Cole, and then Olin.
Jimbo, last year you got to go up against Derek Mason and Vanderbilt. What have you seen? What do you remember from his defense and how it's progressed over in Auburn?
I mean, very, very sound, very physical, very diverse, create different coverages, leverages, the way he rushed the passer, the way they attack things. I mean, they created a lot of different problems for you. I mean, it was not a very simple thing to do. Your players had to have a lot of, awareness of where things were and what they did, and they gave you a lot of different looks. And Derek, I think, is an outstanding coach.
And then during the bye week, you were able to see a little bit more of the offensive line. For them to be able to go up against the defensive line just for a little bit more practice and stability, does that give you a little bit more confidence going
Well, yeah,
into this
but
week?
we do that every week. We do that every week of the season. We do good on good every week of the season. I think that's part of how we're getting better, because we still do good on good during the week, even during game weeks. We will this week.
Go Olin and then Cease.
A couple things, Jimbo. First of all, do you go into a game with a set schedule about when to use the running backs? For instance, I've noticed that it seems like you go Isaiah for 2 series and then bring in Devon.
Because sometimes we do have a set thing, or by plays that we have scripted in the first 15 plays, or things that we going in a game plan. We'd rather have this guy on this guy, this play on this play. But the good thing about both those two, they both can do so much. You don't have to specialize a lot with those guys. You know what I mean? But there may be something like that. It could be at different positions we do. Yes.
Okay. And then just over the open week, what have you seen from Zach as he continues to work?
Knowledge, confidence, loves ball. Teammates respect him. Teammates like him. They play hard for him, and he just keeps getting better and better at the game. Keeps studying the game.
Go to the left, Cease, and then Jennifer.
You touched on Harrison. Any personal connection with him? And then
On who? I'm sorry.
The coach, is it Harson?
Harson, yes,
Harson, any personal connection? And what about him and Bobo? What have they kind of done different with the offense, do you feel?
No, there's no Brian. I never knew Brian before. He was a very good coach at Boise, knew of him, but didn't have a personal relationship. But I think they've done what the players can do. Mike has a great football mind. And Mike was a quarterback himself, played at Georgia, coached against him. I mean, Dad was a coach. He's grown up in it his whole life, and I think he understands how to take care of a quarterback, but also ask a quarterback to do what he does, and then expand the roles with the people around him and what he's done. And I think he's developed those guys into a very physical group that gets the ball to their playmakers, controls the line of scrimmage, and puts the quarterback in very advantageous positions to be successful, and then the quarterback does it on his own himself.
Third row on the left.
Hi, Coach Fisher. Jennifer Streeter with the Battalion. How does having players like Jaden Peavy and Michael Clemens, among others, who have utilized their extra year of eligibility and have that extra year of playing experience, how do you think that provides an edge for this team?
I think first of all, from their ability, they're really good players in general. Second, they have been through everything. They can articulate. They can help with leadership. They can help explain to the young guys why we got to do this, why we got to practice that way, and them set the examples in which they have. Not only are they good players, but they understand the big picture of why we do things and how we do things and the standard in which we do things. And I think they reinforce that tremendously.
We'll stay on third row on the left.
You and your players have continuously mentioned focusing on one game at a time. How important is that to make sure your players don't get ahead of themselves?
They have to be. It's the process, and it's one day at a time. It's the meeting I'm in, the drill I'm in, the exact play I'm on at that specific time. I mean, you can't be somewhere else. Your mind can't be everywhere else. And that's why it's hard for people to imagine sometimes when you feel the pressure of a situation that if you've done it 1,000 times, the pressure's not there. The anxiety, you want the anxiety of having the calmness to be able to do it. But when you know you've, as I say, studied for the test and you know the answers, you don't have the anxiety taking the test. Now, is there anxiousness and you want to make sure you do it right? Yes. But I think the key to be able to handle big moments, big games, and the whole situation of playing well for a complete game is the preparation. And the only way you can do that, as we say, be where your feet are. Right now, what are we doing? Right now, what am I focusing on? Then go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it's amazing how you prepare yourself for the game. And it's the ultimate thing for us to be able to have success is to do those things and stay true to the process.
We'll stay to the left, Justin, and then down front, Travis.
Hey, Coach, obviously your D-line.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Your D-line's obviously been pretty dominant. In a game like this where a quarterback can get out and extend plays, you changed how you rush in a game like this?
Well, no, I mean, you got to be aware. You got to be aware of your gaps. You got to be controlled. And sometimes, whether it's getting a sack, which is great, what you want, but sometimes you got to collapse the walls and not give him a hole to get out too. You got to have discipline, but you got to have athleticism in what you're trying to do, and you got to mix the looks because good players, each and every time, when you do something the same way every time, we'll figure it out after a while. And I think we got to be diverse. But the other thing, we have to be physical and we have to be disciplined.
Down front, Travis, and then to the left, Zach.
Bye week, were you able to get healthy? And I think especially Tyree Johnson might be the only one that might have been a question. What is his status?
He'd be good. He should be practicing today.
Anybody else that you don't expect to play?
No, not. I don't think it was reported this morning. No, I don't believe so.
Front left, Zach.
Jimbo, you'll be happy to hear that Isaiah used the term block out the clutter. I know that's something that you like to use as well, so at least something's sticking with him. But that being said, how difficult is it to do that when you have big games like this coming up and you want those surrounding your program, but at the same time being able to maintain focus?
Well, I think when you're in it, as I say, you're in the battle. I don't think it's as hard because you understand how you have to play. And I think that's where who you listen to is a group different than what fans or anybody else wants to listen to. And you got to do that. You got to understand what makes me play well in these games, which I want to do. And I think the other thing is discipline, and the other thing is maturity, of not letting get enticed by something else and understand it. And he's been around it enough to understand that.
Front right here, Cole.
Jimbo, you're starting to see teams now more often go for it on fourth down. Are you a proponent for that, or are you more so just based off where the field position is?
Depends on what the situation of the game is, the flow of the game, the score of the game, the momentum of the game, everything. And I watch a lot of guys who go for it on fourth down cost themselves games. I mean, it goes both ways. It's funny. When a guy don't go for it, they want to say it. When a guy does do it, they don't do it. No one wants to mention it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody thinks it's an analytic. But, I mean, there's times to do it and there's times not to do it. And I think it's flow of the game, and I think it's feel, and I think it's coaching. I don't think there's a book that tells you. I promise you that. At least not in my mind.
Anything else? All right, Coach.
Good.
Appreciate your
Thank
time.
y'all. Have a great day.